All right, so we want to talk about designing samples. So when we have a sample, what our main goal is that this sample over here is representative of our entire population. And so we want to pick some people, and sometimes like it won't be perfectly representative. Like this one, we didn't get any of the green people over there. Okay, we didn't get any. We did get some reds. We got a gray. Okay, but we didn't get the darker blues. We got two of the blacks. Okay, so we didn't get perfect representation of the population, but it's because it's a small sample. Okay, and it's also a small population. But our goal is a representative sample. All right. What we're trying to avoid is what's called bias. And bias is systematically favoring certain outcomes. Okay. So if I, for some reason, my style favors selecting the red people or the blue people or the black or the green. Okay. If I'm systematically, or my system that I've set up to select people automatically misses all the green people, then I'm favoring the non-green samples. I'm favoring certain outcomes, and it's built into my system that I've designed to generate my sample. Okay. That's called bias. If you create a system that is biased, you need to get rid of the system. Okay. If you have a biased data set, you can't use the results. They're unusable. The only way to cure bias is with a trash can. You throw it out and you got to start over. So that's why the 7 P's of success: prior proper planning prevents poor performance. If you want to avoid a poor performance, you better plan ahead. And that's why design is what we're talking about. Designing studies, designing experiments. Okay. There's 2 major types of studies that we're going to talk about. The first is observational studies. Okay. Those studies, you observe people, you measure variables, but there's no influence on them. Okay. The second is experiments. Here, you're imposing a treatment on the individuals. You're telling them, you need to take this medicine and you need to take this medicine. And maybe one of them is a placebo, but you're telling them what they need to do and observing their responses. So here, people get to choose whatever they want and you observe their responses. Here, you tell people what to do and you observe their responses. And you're like, well, who cares and what's the difference? Well, in 5.1, we'll study observational studies where we are just observing. 5.2, we impose treatments, okay? And there's some sampling methods that we can talk about. The first is a voluntary response. And this is what happens when you get a pop-up ad. You have the choice, you volunteer to respond. Or like if you want to sign up for something, it's like, hey, anyone who wants to respond, just click here and you can respond, okay? This tends to be biased because opinionated people are the ones who want to be heard. Okay. And so you get people at both extremes are the ones who are responding rather than the people in the middle. All right. There's another kind called convenience sampling. And this is where you reach out to the people who are easy to contact. And this is often biased because that group, that sample, does not usually represent the population. Okay, so like if you want to get a sample at a coffee shop about what people think about the city that they're in, well, you're getting all of the coffee shop people, which maybe coffee shop people don't represent the population because there's plenty of people who don't just chill in coffee shops. And so they may be convenient, but they're probably not representative. And so as we look through this unit, we're going to be designing studies and designing experiments, observational studies. Both of these are studies. These are experimental studies. These are observational studies. When you're observing, you're not telling them what to do. When you're doing an experiment, you tell them what to do. And these are like the gold standard of statistics because it allows you to conclude causation, which is awesome. Our goal when we're designing any of these is to avoid bias. And so we'll talk a lot about that in the upcoming sections. Good luck. See you soon.